How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today just got a couple of bits and bobs. I've been testing quite a few things. I've got some mission gameplay, a couple of different things I want to show you that might come in handy. There's a mission on Island Lake that's kind of still bugged. I couldn't get it at first, and I think I know why now, but it's still a bit bugged, so I'll show you that. I suppose the first thing, as it's on screen, may as well get into it. Obviously, I'm going with a Dolphin, but the Dolphin has only got a 200 litre fuel tank. Rather like, I've shown you the Swiss Army Dolphin when you properly put all the fuel trailer and the loaf on, but if you can't be arsed with any of that, just stick a Scout fuel trailer on the loaf, because personally, I don't know if anyone else thinks this, but the maintenance trailer add-on needs less fuel and more repair points. Like, I don't need 2,000 litres. I'm not going to be in one area long enough that I'm going to use 10 full tanks of fuel on the Dolphin. If I am, I'm going to be across the map and I'll go to a fuel station. Yeah, like this setup here, I've got 900 litres in the Scout fuel trailer, I've got 120 litres on the roof of the loaf, I've also got 80 litres in the loaf, but it'll go down a little bit, but it's usually like 60, 70 odd by the time you need it anyway. I've also got 300 repair points. Yeah, 300. I keep, like, it's pretty good that it's 300. Yeah, 300 repair points and 4 spare tyres. I've also got a spare tyre, I suppose, on my Dolphin. But my point being is that I think this is better than a maintenance trailer, and a couple of reasons I think that is because, well, basically, imagine if it said you can have a maintenance trailer, and then underneath it said you can have a maintenance trailer with a super long strong winch on it that's also drivable and can flip your Dolphin back if you roll it. I think we'd all go for the trailer with its own engine. Yeah, like I say, this has got 1100 litres roughly. The big trailer's got 2000, so like the maintenance trailer. So yeah, like I said, I don't even really need, like, 900 is plenty. That's more than enough. I need more like 200 or something, or at 500 max, and I don't think I'd use it all, but I suppose it'd be nice to have 500. But yeah, 2000 is just... The other thing with the trailer is, this is why I go, or one of the reasons why I go for the loaf. You could obviously do this with, say, the TUZ-166 or the Don-71. If I was trying to tow a Tatrin behind me, my Dolphin is only going to go as fast as the Tatrin because it, like, drags you and slows you down. The loaf is small enough, even with the Scout fuel trailer, but as you can see, I'm still motoring along through some pretty thick swamps in High. I do this is about the 18th time I've done this. The road wiggles round to the right, and I just try and go nailing through the middle, and then I inevitably go slow as hell, and yeah, I should have just gone round. But apart from that, I would have got stuck. I had to winch out with the Dolphin anyway, even though I wasn't attached to the loaf anymore. So the Dolphin would have got stuck there, or been very. It wasn't stuck, but it was just way too slow that I'd rather winch myself out. Yeah, the other thing is, obviously the loaf is extremely good at not tipping, but if it does tip, like when I was near to hitting that tree, I was like, oh no, there's a fatter one than I thought. Yeah, if your maintenance trailer tips, or your fuel trailer, whatever, if it's actually attached to your truck, it can tip, and it can tip you with it, whereas obviously this is on a winch, so it's not going to do that. And yeah, you could put your trailer on a winch. The only thing I will say then, your trailer is incredibly likely to roll at some point, because it's not even got any resistance from your truck, it's just on the winch. And once a big trailer rolls, whether you like it or not, it's going to start dragging like an anchor. You're going to basically stop, and then you're going to have to flip it back over to carry on. The loaf, it's got no things on its side that catch, so even when it does tip over, you just carry on driving forward, and within seconds, 99% of the time, it just bounces back to its wheels. So overall, it's just like, it's another reason. It's not the only reason. Like I've shown quite a few, and I'll carry on showing others. That's kind of why I leave bits like this in. It again, you might not like the loaf, and that's fine. You might prefer, yeah, the TUZ-166. If you're gonna do this, again, it needs to be something small. Like, there's no point in towing. I suppose if you had another Dolphin behind, but again, if you had a trailer on that and blah blah blah, like, you could do that definitely. But other reasons why I like the loaf is I can fit through loads of little tiny gaps in the trees, so I can pretty much always find a wedge, or I can get to somewhere that I want to explore. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just motoring along fine. The loaf's taking a little bit of hits here and there, but one, it doesn't really matter at the minute anyway, because I'm not necessarily planning on driving the loaf at the minute. I'm just well, yeah, I've got it as basically as a maintenance trailer. And yeah, if I needed to drive the loaf, I could repair the loaf if, like, the suspension was damaged. I think you see the loaf taking bits of damage, but it was fine by the time I finished all this. Like, it had damaged stuff, but nothing was red. It was just, yeah, damage. Like, the other reason as well, and I haven't tested this enough specifically with a maintenance trailer and stuff, but with the loaf dragging behind me, I tend to take less damage for whatever reason. I don't know. One theory I was sort of working on earlier, because I was doing this on Northport, was when I was going around corners on my own with the Dolphin, after I turn and I get full lock, the back end would drift a little bit, which meant it was like I now had to turn back the other way quicker to catch it. Whereas with a loaf essentially dragging on the back, it keeps my back end very straight and in line with the road and the direction I'm going, or if I'm going around a corner, it just keeps it nice and, like, centered in the corner rather than drifting out. So as I was going around corners, it felt a lot smoother basically. And just quickly, does anyone know what this is? I've seen it a couple of times, like a blue square with a flag in it, but then when you drive on it, it disappears. And by the way, the mission I'm doing is called Signal in the Mountains. You just have to get to like an antenna thing. There's nothing you've got to take with you. That's why I'm just flying there with the Dolphin. But as you can see, my fuel's almost out. But yeah, obviously I got like 1100 litres or more behind me, so it's like a long-range Dolphin. I can go pretty damn far. I've basically just drove across Smithville Dam and Island Lake, and I've used, say, 200 litres, so I've got about another 11 maps worth of fuel behind me. There's another one of them square. I tried looking on the map, but it just doesn't show up as anything, and when I drive over it, it disappears. So maybe it was an old contest or something they were going to put in, I'm not sure. Yeah, like, obviously when I'm heading to this thing, there's no trailers or anything I've got to bring, but normally I wouldn't go silly long distance with a Dolphin. Well, I do now because I just bring a loaf with me, but say the Azov John has got almost twice the size fuel tank and it uses less fuel, but because it's slower, it's still not as nuts as it is. It will get further, but in some places like Northport and stuff like that, it ain't as much as you think, and it'll take like twice as long in the John, probably more. Anyway, I just completed that one and I started to drive off. You can see I don't have to mess around turning my loaf around. As I reverse, it starts to reverse. It tips over. To be fair, that was my fault. I was just watching the loaf and I drove into the tree. But if I just ignored it and carried on, I can pretty much guarantee it would have got back to its wheels basically when it did it. I can't remember which ones I've left in, but it did, like, a couple of times. So anyway, that's that Island Lake, like that new mission called Fallen Antenna. Well, it's not a new one. I found it when I was doing the drilling side things, but I couldn't select it. Now I've done that Signal in the Mountains, it's letting me. But what it's saying is I've got to pick something up from that middle bit and drop it off where I've just been to that Signal in the Mountain thing. And that's not true. If you read on there, it says I need a cargo container. See, look, loaf tipped over, just rub it on a post, and she's good. The answer to all life's problems. Got an itch on your back? Rub it on a post. Got dog shit on your shoe? Rub it on a post. Wanna fuck a post? Rub it on a post. I mean, the answer. Yeah, basically, like, it says you need a cargo container, but I can't get one from here. When I get there, it's just a yellow square to, like, accept the mission, but I've already, because I picked it up weeks, probably over a month ago, yeah, I can already just select it in my menu. So I can't pick a cargo container up from here, and then what I did in the end was drive to one of the drilling sites, because I remember picking up sort of big cargo containers from there, but it wasn't a cargo container, it's drilling equipment. So effectively, like, here's the square, I've drove in it, it's just not letting me do anything. It's just still saying it wants, yeah, cargo container. But for whatever reason, maybe there is no cargo containers on this map to be got, but it won't tell me where I can get one. So I drew a bit of a mad line because I was going to grab a trailer and head to that drilling site. But yeah, like I say, in the end it was a sort of false hope. But I fill my dolphin back up. And again, this just shows you, and I've got a trailer now as well. Like, I know I could winch a maintenance trailer behind this, but I go to drive off. It's no hassle, it's just when the winch takes up the slack, the loaf does a quick 180 and we're off. And as you can see now, I'm in high, it's winding up very nicely in high. I don't feel like it's slowing me down at all, especially considering I've also got a semi-trailer on the back. So yeah, that's just one of the ways where, like one of the many ways where the loaf sort of comes in handy. But if at any point now I could just disconnect the winch and I'm off, so it's not, I don't know, it's not like I'm stuck with it. That's one reason I don't really like putting you know, the van bodies, the maintenance things, etc. as a frame add-on as much, because if I had a van body on now and then I can't have the saddle low and stuff, there's now less things I can do. I might be driving somewhere, find a mission and be like, oh damn, I wish I had a saddle low. Whereas obviously with this setup, I can have the saddle low, I can effectively have a maintenance trailer. Again, that's just trailers versus add-ons. Like, I could have a saddle low and tow a maintenance trailer instead of having like a maintenance add-on. I can't remember if this can have a maintenance add-on. I think it can, but don't quote me on it off the top of my head. Yeah, again, I'm travelling along nicely. There is no issues. Yeah, I've still got options. I could disconnect this trailer, I could tow another trailer if I come across one. Yeah, all sorts of stuff really. So yeah, get here. It's drilling equipment, not a cargo container. So right now I was like, god damn it. Yeah, this was about 8:30 in the morning. That's why this video is probably a little bit late. There's a couple of other reasons as well, of course. Had myself a bit of loaf time. But yeah, I'd stop that mission for now. Right, this is basically why I don't like the maintenance add-on. I can't now attach that trailer, because obviously you can see the back of the maintenance trailer just sits over the back, so it sort of steals your, I don't know, towing point. If I just stick one of these on the back, this trailer is exactly the same size as the large maintenance frame add-on. So it's got 2,000 litres as well, it's got 350 and 5 tyres or whatever it is. But obviously now, if I was driving along, I've still got it, I've not quite sold it yet because I've been testing a few things, but yeah, at any point, if I get distracted or I'm bored, I can just cut the trailer loose, set off, and yeah, I've not limited myself to being one thing. Like, some people have said they're using this as a fuel truck, and yeah, I'm not knocking it at all. Like, it's not a terrible truck, by the way. In my review, it's like, it's just, I don't think it's that good. I don't see what I get for my money. Like, I have plenty of other stuff that can do everything this can and more, but it's not terrible. It's just, yeah, again, I don't need to wax 160 grand on it. Like, it doesn't fulfill any purpose for me. Obviously this is like, I won't leave too much of this in, but I was more that's again a loaf, like, instead of the maintenance trailer basically. And yeah, like I say, if I rolled this P12, I can I've got a loaf with me, just again any other vehicle, but for whatever reason the loaf, the winches are probably the same strength on all the Scouts, but the loaf is actually surprisingly grippy and torquey for a very small vehicle. I think you've seen it in yesterday's video. I can flip this P12 back from its side with the loaf, and again, here's another thing. Of any of you, when you've tried reversing a maintenance trailer, the axle tucks under the trailer, and then the trailer starts to tip, and then the trailer starts to tip you. When I reverse here, the loaf reverses itself, spins the trailer around itself. The loaf tips now because I clipped it. I'm not even looking, I'm not worried, I just carry on. By the time I've made the corner, the loaf's back on its wheel, and that's not some lucky clip. Like, I've done that probably 50 to 100 times, and probably more than that actually. And yeah, it just rolls back to it. Even if it didn't roll back to its wheels, because it's such a tiny vehicle, it doesn't take a lot. Even another loaf, towing 2 loaves together, and it's you can flip it insanely easy. It's one of the easiest vehicles in the game to flip. That's again another reason. I was trying to load it on here with the crane. I got a bit sick and tired. The crane's just too slow and boring, so I just yanked the loaf. That's definitely some kind of euphemism. Yeah, flung it on the back. I was just about to put the other loaf on, but then I wanted to kind of test things out with this first. Just a quick tip, if you are putting trucks on sideways, I winched it to the left-hand side of the bumper, because if I did it to the right-hand side with the way the loaf's facing, it would have tried accelerating forward and possibly jumped off the side of the truck. This P12 really needs a winch point in the middle of the front bumper though. So this is just a little demonstration. Like, once I've packed the loaf on my back, which, well, say it takes an extra minute or so getting the crane out, or even 2 minutes, like, again, I'd rather take a 15-minute detour around a 10-minute traffic jam, as long as I'm still doing something I enjoy rather than just sitting in traffic. Then I don't really mind if it's a bit longer. Nailed all them trees. I was just trying to see, like, how easy is the loaf to shake off, and it's like it ain't really going anywhere. Remember, I am now winched into it, and I did this on purpose because I've done this before. I mean, look at it. It's like that P12 would have tipped now to the point it stalled, but because I've got a goddamn professional with me, and it's got like little bike stabilizers. I mean, this P12 isn't loaf trained yet. Well, it's currently being loaf trained, so that was its stable loafers, and because of that, it didn't tip over. And even if it did tip over, I'd have the loaf to flip it back. But you've seen it there for yourself. Like, it propped it up. Now look at it. It's like a little happy dog, like hanging out your window with its tongue flapping when you're going down the motorway or something. Well, probably not the motorway. It's a bit quick, but you get the idea. The editing's a bit like patchy there because I wasn't really doing this for like a video. I was just, to be honest, tonight I was gonna do the YAR 87 video, but I was testing it out and it feels like it flips back a bit better, and I wasn't sure if they've changed it. And then I was trying to compare it to the loaf, and I got a bit distracted with loaf time. I mean, look at it, because of that stupid spade bumper, my loaf shot out, nearly headbutted the dashboard. Yeah, then I was going to do a crane test, but one, they're really inconsistent at the minute, the heavy cranes and so on. Two, there's an update coming soon, so rather than just make a video on, oh, this is the cranes, and then in 3 days' time or something they change it all, I'm just going to wait for the update, so we'll see what they fix and what they don't fix, and I can, obviously, I'll hopefully get a YAR review pretty damn soon, and some other things. This, by the way, you don't need to do it. It didn't need to happen, but I was just curious. You see me reverse, knock the loaf over. I was just wondering, I could tow it behind me, but just personal challenge. I wanted to see if I could get the loaf back up on top of the P12, and I mean, look at the goddamn thing. Get yourself a loaf. Well, yeah, I'm back on the frame of it. I am sat on the tyres at the minute, and because it's got no mud flaps, the P12, like, it wouldn't do a lot here because there's not really anywhere the tyres could send me, but if I started driving then it'd scuff like the bottom of the loaf. But I winched to that post in front of me, give it a little bit of jiggling, and yeah, hoovered her in nice and tight. And now we're in, we're ready to go. And that's just, you sort of already know it, but this thing doesn't go well through water. I mean, the loaf on the time of its life, but had to bail the old P12. This, by the way, I hope they fix this in the update. I can't move my tyres now, and that completely wrecks it. Like, not completely, but it makes it a lot harder to flip yourself. This thing used to be a piece of piss because you could just turn the tyres, even if you're on your roof you could turn. You just see now, I winch the back end to scoot me around, but sometimes when you're winching it lets you move your tyres again. That's more why I did it. So, as you can see, I started jiggling my wheels. I got them moving while I was actually sort of on my side, and I put it in high gear. You see I'm almost out of fuels because I gave pretty much all of it to the P12. Yeah, there you go, got back up. As soon as I can use my wheels again, it's like a lot better. At the minute, it's handy if you could have an autonomous winch on it, but again, I personally prefer the advanced winch because I'm usually towing it behind something else. So even if I did flip the loaf on the very rare occasion where it doesn't land back on its wheels, I'll just flip it with the vehicle I'm with. I purposely leant it up against that other tree. It rolled down the hill, I mean it basically turned itself round. But again, as I rolled, I was jiggling the wheels, and now, because I can move the wheels again, this is like how easy it is. You see me just reverse then, twist myself around the hill to whichever angle I want to flip it on, stick it in the hide. Sometimes you've got to wait a few seconds to sort of chew a bit of mud out of the way, but there you go, loaf approved. Oh yeah, this was the other reason why I got a bit distracted tonight and didn't have time for a YAR review. I mean, look at it. Oh, damn. You see though, we're learning things here. I did say I would fly some cargo. I mean, it was only so long I was able to resist. Went and got myself the Royal, because the American crane, the yellow crane, goes taller than the blue crane. Unrelated kite accident, and that bloody thing was there. I mean, look at it. Hoisted by my own petard. Not only did it wreck my go, but it had the cheek to then dive down the cliffs itself. It's like, yeah, looking at it like, you bastard, that's what I wanted to do. And look at the mess in this place. Yeah, sometimes you just got to dolphin it. Turn a bit to the left, because I don't clip the rocks. Bam! Hello, dolphins. I mean, let's be honest, I'd be swimming in dolphin right now. Have to get me swimming goggles out. Probably have crabs already. Well, unless it's a posh lady dolphin, then they have lobsters. But yeah, I mean, you've seen me jump a lot of stuff off those cliffs, like normally. For some reason, I've noticed this quite a lot, and you should have seen it in the videos. I went for this treat. I know I shouldn't, but I went for it. No regrets. God loves a trier. Yeah, when you're flying cargo or fuel trailers, for some reason it just lands very nicely at the bottom of the cliff. It's like the drag from the cargo keeps you upright. I started lowering the box down the cliff. I have no idea why, if I'm honest. But then I started thinking, I wonder how long I can make the crane cable. So after many times of doing this, to make, like, whilst holding square to let more rope out while I was turning the crane, kept turning it back. I mean, now at this point the winch cable started getting a bit weird and glitchy. See, then I drive forward a bit. I think this was the last attempt. You can see, like, yes, that is my cargo over at the Royal. I mean, we're going international flights, like England to Alaska. Pretty similar countries, really. Only Alaska probably has longer summers. I mean, yeah, I reversed up for a run up. I'm not an animal. I mean, there's a rock floating in the air. That's how electric the feeling is right now. Sadly, well, I mean, it wasn't bad. It looked like I had a pretty good fish on the line, but just like, come on, get some air, man. It just wasn't taking off. I was genuinely like, nah, I knew it was unlikely, but I was like, there is like a 1% chance I could be flying a cargo. I mean, a service spare part from halfway down the runway. It looked like I got a little bite of the sandworm there, but he let go. So yeah, no real luck on that one. Yeah, I mean, eventually it's bound to happen. I played around with the little kiddies kites, the little ones I had when I was a kid. Now we're going on to, like, you know, like them nutters you see on the beach. That, I mean, it's basically not a kite; it's like a parachute. Yeah, I mean, look at it go. That's good kite. That's nice. I mean, it is technically getting air. I do hoover it in a little bit, but yeah, because I don't know if this game simulates wind, but for whatever reason, it seems like it's catching a nice bit of wind and it's going. I'm the time of my bloody life right now, but obviously the Voron is a goddamn beast, so it doesn't just stop at flying it down the runway. But as you can see, things are going pretty well. Yeah, what is this? Drilling equipment? Oh, it's not the cargo container. I was just thinking then, like, aha, I know where to get one. So, fly off there. Bam. Hello, tuners. Yeah, made it down. Fell in the hole that my Hummer made the other day when it left the cliffs. You never thought you'd hear that. Yeah, I started like, I'm off. I ain't got time to wait around on the beach. I've got cargo to deliver. So yeah, the good old Voron, even with this cargo on, floats like a good un. And you see, because of the loafiness of the loaf, and it went submarine in the other day round here, and I knew it was a muddy base rather than bedrock, which I thought it was. Stuck it in low nice and early so I don't wheel spin into the mud. I think I stopped there just as I was like, yeah, hoovering the thing in a bit more. I reckon it lifted my nose a bit more. I could go to crane mode, let a bit of the winch out, and sit my nose a little bit lower, but obviously this thing floats anyway. But yeah, drive my way across to the island, so bringing a bit of cargo with me, as you do. I mean, yes. How happy was I with myself right now? This is why this video took so long to make. Or not so long to make, it's so long to start. Trying to go up here, like, come on! I mean, of course, keep it pinned, fingers crossed. It was worth a go. It's not done yet. Like, lady tuners. Yeah, at this point, this is like something wrong with me. I even turned the crane round just to make sure it was like a big fat middle finger. Like, fuck you, map. This is my island now. I'm bringing supply. I'm like Injun going into Isla Nublar. If I'm not transporting a T-Rex back to the mainland soon, that's going to be a negative for this game, if I'm honest. Like, now I've got here with my, I don't know, T-Rex supplies. I mean, yeah, after a while I was like, fuck you, Hill. I'm not taking that. I'm going to give it another go. I mean, look at it. We're off dinosaur hunting. Got me a container for them. See? Keep it floored. Keep it pinned. Fingers crossed. Works just about every goddamn time. I mean, thumbnails, too many to choose from in this bloody video. Too much going on, but yeah, we made it. I mean, look, I was driving nicely, calmly, and then I seen a gap, and my brain was just like, ramming speed, and that was it. I didn't even have time to know why I did what I just did. I was in the middle of exploring, and yeah, I just seen the gap, and I went for it, and I don't know why. But I'm glad I did. I mean, you know, that container was kind of balancing on me. It's a pretty professional job. We won't talk about that last bit. So, I brought, again, you can see, possibly with these clips, I mean, look at that, I was like, oh my god, that is some good goddamn kite action. Look, I'm so keen, like, turn, you son of a bitch. I'm ready. I need things to happen within the next 5 seconds. And then I was like, right, okay, just relax, slam the handbrake on, let's go again. Oh my god, look at that. That, I could do this for hours, days, possibly weeks. I mean, a double rear wheel wheelie because I'm pulling so much goddamn weight in the air. I admit, it's not completely related, but it was a bit like tractor pulling. Only, well, yeah, it's 4-slot kite flying, to give it its official name, but I was having the time of my life doing wheelers then in high gear. Clip the post. I mean, we went for it. Bit back heavy, but bam. Lady, I don't know, SpongeBob's royal jellyfish. Maybe there's a royal jelly. That sounds like some shit that live in the ocean. I mean, look at it. Pretty goddamn happy with myself. I mean, the next bit, 2x rated for YouTube, really. We showed that trailer a thing or two, and inevitably I thought, hang on, I might be able to hit that with a goddamn dolphin. Oh, here I am. I was like, God, you son of a bitch, how could you get any closer and still miss? I mean, there was no way I was giving up when it just cock-teased me like that. Look at it, I skimmed the crane, there was sparks flying, there's a little puff of smoke in the air. I was like, oh hell no, I'm going back. I put a crane on the back to weigh me down a bit, to slow me down. Clipped the crane, I was like, oh my god. However, when it tipped there, I was like, oh yes, that's like exactly where I just landed. So I go, another go. Like, yes! I mean, look at it. The Azov was like, that was amazing. Rolled over, lit a cig. That's it, it's done. Time of its life. It's chilling. But, that's not good enough. Dolphin doesn't give up after just one round. Like, bam! Yes. Roll over. Cigarette number 2. Again, time of its bloody life.